Hey everyone and welcome on De Papier de Rêves channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be painting with you some primroses. For my first layer I'll start very loosely and very messy. I'm spraying some water on my paper and I'm making a lot of marks. I'm trying to get as randomly as I can in order to get this loose effect that I love. That's why I'm tilting my board in order to help the water and the pigment to move and to give them a direction of movement. It will stay later on my paper and it will add some dynamism in my composition. So that's very important to tilt my paper right now. So it's a very messy start with this painting. I'm throwing paint and water everywhere. My cat loves it, but I have to wash it afterwards, so it's a bit annoying, but it helps me to get the loose effect, so it's bad for good. And even if I haven't done much yet, my picture is already looking interesting and it has some good start in it, so I'm happy with it. I'm painting primroses, but there is a little bit of a particularity here. They are surrounded by snow. That's why I'm very careful to get this white all around my flowers, and I'm taking care of the edges so that they are quite interesting to look at. At the end of my first layer, I've just added a little bit of salt in order to get a little bit of texture in here and activate the granulation of my painting. I'm starting now the second layer, and in fact this painting has just two parts. The first part is a very messy start, and in the second part I just have to make the flower emerge of my painting and add a little bit of definition in them, and that's it. A very interesting detail is that I've used exactly the same color as my last painting I've shown here on YouTube, the snowdrops. I have used exactly the same colors. But at the end I have two totally different pictures. The snowdrops are very cold and in the blue-violet hue, and this one is a little bit much warmer and more into the pinks and greens. My principal color here is the Rose Madder Lake, which is the same pigment as Quinacridone pink. And I've also used Lunar blue from Daniel Smith, which is a very granulating color, and it's a perfect color for painting scene with snow because of this granulation. It helps with the texture. I've almost nothing to do. Lunar blue will get in all the hollows of the paper and granulate beautifully around the snow. And I just have to put the color in the right areas, and that's it. I also mix with the Rose Madder Lake a tiny bit of Quinacridone gold in order to have a little bit warmer hue of pink, and I love to have the contrast cold and warm in watercolor, so Quinacridone gold is the best for that. And all the greens are made with blue Indanthrene and Quinacridone gold. And I also do not wash thoroughly my brush when there is pink on it, so when I go back to the greens there is a little bit of pink and it tie everything together. For all the edges in between my Primroses and the snow. I've worked them in my first layer, of course, with very irregular borders, but now I'm adding a little bit of depth in it, and I'm working them a little bit more with a dry brush. In fact, my brush is almost dry, as there is a little bit of pigment and water on it. And when I brush softly the paper, the pigment will go just on top of the paper and not in all the hollows. And this way I have the same texture as snow and a little bit of shadow on the snow very easily. And when I want a deeper shadow around the snow, I just put quite a dark pigment in the edge, and I gradient it with just a clean brush. And I'm doing the same for the flower. I'm putting quite a lot of dark colors, and then with a clean brush I gradient it until nothing. The petals of Primroses are quite thick, and you can see it by the edge of the petal. It's a tiny bit lighter than the petal itself. So for getting the same effect, I will put the shadow of the petal a little bit further away of the petal, so that there is a tiny bit of a lighter edge on it. And now let's talk about supplies. For the brushes, I've used an Escoda Aquario number 18 and a silver brush, black velvet, 1/4 inch. I've also used a Raphaël Petit Gris 803 number 2 and a Raphaël Petit Gris also 903 number 12. For the color, I've used Indanthrene blue, Quinacridone gold, Rose Madder Lake, and Lunar blue. And my paper is from Arches, and it's the rough one. This painting was a bit hard to do, not the actual painting right now, but all the process behind it was quite hard for me. I've made several tries before this one, and there wasn't going well, all of them. I did have a hard time finding my way through this painting. And even if the result is quite okay, I think that it's hard to recognize the Primroses in this painting, and I think there's something that isn't right, but I can't tell exactly what's wrong with this painting. In my first study, I had quite a hard time with colors because in the real life the Primroses are quite darker than in my painting right now, but this violet against the green, it wasn't showing and popping a lot. It was dull, and I didn't like it at all, so I had to change that first. And then in the second study, the composition wasn't right, and I had the feeling that there was one flower here, another here, and it wasn't unified by anything. So well, yes, it wasn't right. And in this picture, it's a little bit better, but I think the composition isn't right again. But even though there is imperfection in this painting, I quite like it, and it was very fun to paint, especially the snow. I think I've made a good job with the snow, so that's a good point. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Please check the blog post for more information about this painting and tell me in the comment what you think. See you soon.